Good morning traders and welcome to today's live trading. Today is the 7th of March. It's a Thursday and as usual we are on the FTSE 100. So let me quickly run you through to today's band analysis. You can see we've got one band sitting currently on the 71.65 level. I've got one a little bit lower at 71.35 and one up at 72.15. I do have a couple of others but we're quite far away from them as it stands, so I won't cover them just yet. As far as an immediate trade setup goes, there's nothing like that I'm really eyeballing. I'm happy to trade either way in this band, so if it wants to stay from the top side in this and look for longs, then I'm happy to do that. Equally, if it wants to break down, maybe come and test this S2 return, then I would definitely look for a short back down to this band here, sort of the 7140 level. But I wouldn't mind doing that at all. So yeah, it's just waiting for price really to open this morning. We've got 10 minutes to the open. I think if I were to get long, I'd be looking more towards today's pivot as a potential target rather than the next band up, just because if you look towards yesterday, there are some mild confluences with this level. You can see price reacted a few times around here, so I wouldn't be trying to hold on through that level. I don't think the likelihood is that there would be, you know, say it's around a 10-12 point stop. You're looking up towards 20 points up to that level anyway, so there's plenty of risk, plenty of reward for the risk that you'd be taking. So that doesn't concern me too much. So yeah, it's just about waiting now for the market to open and seeing how price decides to move in this band and see where and if we get a signal. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, I'm just going to put a buy order in just above the previous candle. So buy, the high is 71, so I want to be in at 72.2. Submit that. Okay, so that order's been submitted. It's actually been triggered straight away, so I can bring the ticket across there. So the trade that we're looking at here, we've got in at the band that I was talking about this morning. Unfortunately, we didn't get any signals this morning. It moved straight up, tested this moving average, 200 moving average a couple of times, came back, just touched the band, went and had another go. At this point I was thinking we'd probably missed this move, but it has come back down and just found support again at this level. It's barely moved past where it got previously and has put in that nice pin bar, so that's triggered us into the trade. Realistically, like I said this morning, I would probably target this level up here, so sort of towards the 7195 level where today's pivot and yesterday's closes. That's the sort of level I'd be looking at. Given that we've already tested this 200 moving average a couple of times and actually broke through it once, I am hoping that price, if it does get up to that level again, can move past it this time. But stop and everything will be usual, so a couple points below the signal candle, and we will see if we can get a successful trade. So I'll catch you later. Right, so we're 1:45 now, and that trade has finally closed. The recording says it's only been going just over a couple of hours, but that feels like a long time. I don't know why it feels like it's taken as long as it has, but it is only 1:45. But yeah, that has moved up to the profit target in a bit of a hurry there at the end. It's going to sound a bit corny, but I was expecting it to finish like that. When you see such laboured price action like this, down candle, up candle, down candle, up candle, you usually get, it's like somebody used the analogy once, like a coiled spring. Like the more you see that price action, the more that spring's getting pushed together, and then eventually you just get this sort of reaction and it will go one way or the other. And I think once we were up above this 200 moving average, I was a little bit more confident in that reaction might be to the upside rather than to the downside. Obviously, there's been like a bit of a level here that price has struggled to move past, and whilst we stayed under that impulsive move could have very well taken us, you know, past there, took out a variety of stops and carried on its way down. So it was good to see it move up above the 200 moving average, and that just gives me, as you know, as the trader watching the trade, just that extra confidence. And it's just another factor that sort of, if you have any anxiety or, you know, you're stressing while you're watching a trade, that's just something else that sort of dampens those feelings, as you get yet another confluence on top of your previous analysis for the trade. So yeah, that one worked out really well in the end. You can see it's jittering up all over the place. I assume it'll be the news announcement that was coming out at midday, but I don't mind. What takes the price where? If it's in the direction that I want it to go, then I'm fine with that. But I mean, not really too much to discuss today, other than the fact that the price was just really laboured. It was, you know, it's difficult to take anything away from this price action informationally, because it's just so up and down at every point. It can be quite difficult to trade at times, because you try to read into what price is doing, but because it's not as clean as, say, a week ago. I think the last couple of days, to be honest, have been like this, where we're getting this up and down price action, and to be honest, not much of a range on the actual day's price action as a whole. It makes it tricky to read, but I think you've just got to go with the analysis you have at the start of the day. So in my case, that's the support and resistance analysis that I do on the 4 hours, and then just stick to your price action rules, which is what I do, and go with that, and that's prevailed today. I think another factor that sort of stood me in good stead was the amount of signals we actually got down here. We took this one, I believe, and actually there was a nice pin bar before that that's not quite a signal for me, and then obviously this one here, this one would have been another nice signal. If this one had come a bit lower, that would have been yet another signal. So there were a few of them there. As you start seeing, thinking, yeah, okay, there looks to be a lot of buying down here, so hopefully this will be a good one. I guess it's just about managing your you know, your feelings once you're in the trade. That said, you don't want to go too far that way and be looking for confirmational things only, and ignore the, you know, maybe glaring analysis that tells you shouldn't be in this trade, or you shouldn't be about to take this setup, or. But I'm sure I babbled on about that before. So I'll keep this one short-ish, I guess. I don't know until I edit it, but as always, I really do hope there is something you can take away from this video. I hope the information in here helps in some way, and if there's anything you would like me to cover or discuss in next week's video or future videos, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you have enjoyed it, please do feel free to leave a like on the video or subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and I'll see you next week.